This video is sponsored by Athletic Brewing Non-Alcoholic Beer. Order a 6-pack online at the link below. สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. So I just came back from Thailand, and when I'm there, of course, I try to eat all the best Thai food. But you know what else I like to eat? Wings at KFC. Because wings at Thai KFC are awesome. If you know, you know. They are called Wingz Zabb, and they're coated in this spicy, zingy seasoning powder that is so good. Now, no one would ever guess that KFC makes the best anything, right? But somehow they have cracked the code for this seasoning powder that makes these one of the best wings in Thailand. So much so that people have tried to decode this recipe, and now you can find bags of these unofficial Wingz Zabb powder sold in grocery stores. And today, I'm going to try to do the same, except I'm not selling my powder. I just want to share it with you. One caveat though is that I am not trying to make something that is identical to KFC. I want to make one that hit the same note, but that I think is even better. Let's get started. First, the Zabb powder. I'm going to make toasted rice powder by adding jasmine rice to a dry pan, and then if you want, you can also add a couple of makrut lime leaves for extra aroma. Highly recommended. Stir it over medium-high heat, and then after a few minutes, the lime leaves are going to be dry and curled up. At this point, you want to remove them so they don't burn. Then keep toasting the rice until it's dark brown and remove it from the pan. I'm going to grind the toasted rice along with the lime leaves in a coffee grinder, and I want this quite fine because chunky bits will not stick to the wings. This smells so good already. Now I'm going to add some salt, sugar, and lime juice powder. More on this in a bit. We got salty, sweet, and sour. Now we need spicy, so some cayenne pepper going in, and some paprika for color and flavor without the heat. Everything gets blitzed up again to make it super fine, especially the sugar, and then that's it. You can even keep this stuff in a jar and put it on anything you want. A couple of ingredient notes. So this is lime juice powder. My brother got me onto this stuff as a backup for fresh lime juice, and it's great. I use it when I don't have any limes in cooking or when I'm just too lazy to deal with a fresh lime. But it's the most useful when you need the acidity and flavor of lime juice, but not the liquid, such as in this particular situation. Now, I have seen this in many grocery stores. You can probably find it in lots of places, but I will link to it online as well. Final note on chili powder. So I am using a roughly 50-50 ratio of cayenne to paprika. If you want it spicier, use a higher ratio of cayenne. If you want it milder, use a higher ratio of paprika. Note I said ratio, not amount, because you want to keep the total amount the same. If you start adding more or less, it'll mess with the concentration of the salt and the sugar and everything else and throws off the flavor. I also highly recommend you taste your cayenne pepper first before you decide how much of it you want to use, because I found that the heat varies hugely across different brands. Some of them are really spicy, some of them have almost no heat at all. So this is something you need to know before you start putting it into your food, right? So for example, this one is very spicy. Next, the wings. We're going to use all drumettes because you need the meatiness to hold up to the seasoning powder, which is quite intense. I'm trimming off any flappy bits of skin to clean it up, and then I'm going to add some fish sauce and let them marinate for at least 20 minutes before dredging them. For the dredge, I'm using 3 parts all-purpose flour to 1 part cornstarch. The all-purpose flour will give us a substantial crust, but the cornstarch will reduce the total amount of gluten and make it a little crunchier and lighter. Add all this into our wings and then give everything a toss, making sure that the wings are not sticking together. Now the coating looks good as is, but I want it to be a little more craggy, just like KFC. So the trick here is to use my hand and drizzle a little bit of water into this, about 2 tablespoons in total, and then give it another toss. This will make some of the flour get clumpy around the chicken, which will result in our rough, craggy crust. We're almost ready to fry, but first I want to talk about the other really important part of this meal, and that is a nice drink to wash down the wings. Now, these wings are salty, spicy, acidic, so you're going to want to pair it with something cold, fizzy, and gulpable, like this non-alcoholic beer from Athletic Brewing, who is our sponsor today. If you've been looking for a non-alcoholic beer that's actually good, this is it. I have tried many different ones on the market, and when I found Athletic Brewing, my search was over. I was fully satisfied by this. I don't feel like I'm missing anything, and it's just really nice to be able to have a drink anytime and still be on top of my game afterwards. The Upside Down is my favorite. It's a golden with notes of citrus. It's got the same vibe as an Asian beer, so it pairs perfectly with Thai food. So these wings, but really any of my recipes would work well with the Upside Down. If you are more of an IPA person, the Run Wild is awesome. I just had this yesterday with my poke and it was great. So moderately bitter, even I can appreciate it. Still will go really well with Thai food because it's also quite light and refreshing. So I am hooked, and if you're looking for an actually good non-alcoholic beer, give Athletic Brewing a shot. Order a 6-pack online at the link in the description below. Cheers! We are now ready to fry. So I've got my oil here. You want about 1.5 inches of depth at least to make sure the wings are submerged. I'm using canola. Any kind of neutral flavored frying oil that you like will work. And I'm going to heat it to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius, before we drop our wings. And I'm going to need to fry this in 2 batches for sure. Oh, and once the chicken goes in, I'm going to just drop the temperature a little bit to about medium. Just so it doesn't get too hot. These wings are giant. So gigantic wings like these, i.e. if you buy your chicken from Costco, are probably going to take about 8 minutes. You want to go for a minimum internal temperature of 165, but for wings, 175 will also be totally fine. If you're getting like organic wings or whatever and they're smaller, 6 minutes should do it. While the wings are frying, if you are the type of person who likes to keep temperature monitored, I like to keep temp no more than 350 as the wings are frying, which this is way too hot right now, just to make sure that it doesn't burn before they're done. So somewhere between 325 to 350 is fine as you're maintaining temperature. But this stove does not do low heat well, so I've got it on the lowest it can go now. Timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 7 minutes. Look at these. Look how craggly these are. That's exactly what we want. We want a lot of rough surface area so our magical seasoning powder can adhere. Now, for those of you who are into double frying and you're like a firm believer in double frying, you can go ahead and do that for extra crunch. I personally do not find it is worth the extra time if you're going to serve these right away. However, if you want to advance prep, you can fry them off and then don't toss them in the seasoning yet. And then when your guests come and you're ready to serve, fry them again to reheat and re-crisp the skin, then toss them in the seasoning. Let's check the temperature. Yes, it's fine. Now, I'm going to take everything out. Woohoo. Don't do this at home, but just so you can see it, I'm gonna move this hot oil so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, this is only half of my batch, but I'm going to sprinkle the seasoning powder, about half of it, over them because you want to do this while the wings are still hot so that the powder will stick better. And then you might be tempted to toss. Turn this off for now. But use a spoon first because if you toss, the loose powder is going to kick up and then get into your nose, and it is not a good scene. You can use the spoon to purposefully go over those blind spots. You don't have to be perfect with this batch because we still have one more to do. Okay, that is good enough for now, and then we repeat with the second batch. rest of the chicken goes in and put it on top so that the rest of the seasoning powder can go on top. Now, I like to save... It got into my nose. I like to save a little bit for final coating of any blank spots. Not blind spots, blank spots. Now we're gonna do the tossy toss. Hold your breath. Oh man, these look so good. These look just like KFC, except they're way bigger. The ones in Thailand are like Thai-size wings, which are much smaller. All right, let's eat. Now, for advanced prep tips, reheating tips, all sorts of extra info, I will have all that written on the website. And if it's not there, then leave a comment. This looks so good. Do not eat right out of the fryer. It will 100% burn your mouth. Give it like a solid 3 to 5 minutes to cool down. Oh, it smells so good. I am telling you, if you've never had this, you will not be expecting anything like this. It is an explosion of flavor in more ways than I can ever describe. It's so good. It is no wonder that it became such a cult favorite. It is no wonder that people are trying to copy this powder and sell the powder so you can toss your everything in it, because it is amazingly good. And I didn't even add MSG, okay? Because they surely add MSG. I didn't even use MSG. If you add MSG, it's probably going to be even better. But anyway, my God. So good. I say this every time. I hope you give this a try. But I really, really, really hope you give this a try, because I know this will be like nothing you've ever had before if you haven't had these wings in KFC, and it is going to blow you away. The recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. A special thanks to all of our Patreon members who help support the show directly. And if you want to know what that's all about, how you can get in direct contact with me, check out the link in the description below. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time.